and welcome. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. This is my channel, and today we're going to be talking about coffee table books for a lot of different reasons. And I decided that my husband, Elliot, is he's an artist and has quite the collection of really good coffee table books. So we're going to talk a bit about them. But before we do that, we actually just took a little excursion to a local
museum.
Thank you. Art museum called the Mattress Factory. It's in our neighborhood. We popped over there to take a look at their shop and see what coffee table books that they have.
It's a little underwhelming.
It was underwhelming, but I'm going to insert that footage right here, and then we'll come back and we'll chat. Good check. It's definitely more of a reader. Yeah.
I love those. It's whenever he was 17.
Who took these photographs?
The Village Voice, I believe, did the whole article on him.
Just smarty pants. Or anyone who just likes graphic design, you know? I mean, these are so sick. For the person that would be interested in this, it's cool.
is Mattress Factory from 90 to 99. It's big legs.
So, part of the reason why this topic is relevant, aside from the fact that we are kind of hoarders when it comes to coffee table books, but like most people that like art or interior design, I feel like it's just something that you end up collecting.
Yeah, we rotate them out, and
Yeah,
it's fun.
it is fun. But we are approaching the holiday season. I'm sure a lot of people have already begun their holiday shopping, as I have. And coffee table books are just like a really nice gift. And they cover so many different topics too that, you know, we have a lot of art ones, but I mean, we'll get into it, but I feel like there's endless topics that you can search for with coffee table books. And the main thing that I really want to press in this video is that do whatever you want. However, I recommend not buying coffee table books that don't really reflect your style or your interests.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of boring to go to someone's house and they have like super typical coffee table books, like
some generic cooking something. I hate that.
I don't even know what you would be referring to.
Sometimes I see like weird cooking books on people's coffee tables, and I don't like that.
What if they're into cooking?
I guess so.
You know what? I disagree.
Okay.
I'm talking about like the super trendy books that you see in a lot of interior design Instagrams and AD tours, like the Tom Ford book, which I've already nagged.
Snagged.
I've already
Nabbed.
dissed previously on my channel when I did my coffee table styling video, which I'll put a link somewhere. I don't know how people do them up here. I'm not a tube viewer yet, in the full sense of the word, but I'll link it below if I don't know how to put it on the screen somewhere. Okay, but anyways, like the Tom Ford book, you know, some like typical, you know, Louis Vuitton book, which I do have a Louis Vuitton book, but we'll talk about it. So, Elle, do you want to go through, I guess, some of your favorites?
Yeah.
Why don't you lift your little stack there?
Lift it.
Yeah, so people can see the whole stack.
Oh, I didn't know I was working out too.
Sorry. There you
Okay.
go. Those are Elliot's favorites. He has more. These are just his favorites.
Yeah.
I think, let's start with this Picasso one, if that's okay, because this is a book I've seen.
This is an amazing book.
It's a great book. It did have a cover on it, and I think I took it off because I really liked the spine, which is so interior design of me to just, you know, but
No,
this,
the book covers itself is...
it's so good. I mean, it's a great cover without the jacket, I'm saying.
Yeah. The jacket might have been damaged because it's a very old book. I mean, the first page is someone that purchases for someone in Germany, and it was from 1955.
Christmas 1955. But this is a book that I do see often in interior design videos or on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do see this book, and people, I've noticed that they do, oh, cool.
Yeah, so this is like how the original museum coffee table books.
I think what's really special about books like this are just the vintage aspect. Like, this book is as old as my mom. Sorry for outing you, Mom. But, I mean, that's pretty crazy. This is a over 65-year-old book. And I think that's really special. I mean, you can tell that it's been decently well preserved, but it definitely has some damage. So are these so that you can frame them and you have art prints?
You know, I don't really know that kind of history, but that's something that my mind would first kind of...
This is already out and about. We should just frame this. since it's not stuck in the book anymore.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, that's so good.
But yeah, no, this book is amazing. I got this at a thrift store in Philadelphia.
So, that being said, I think thrift stores or secondhand bookstores.
Yeah, like a secondhand bookstore, more.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
So, secondhand bookstores are definitely top place, I'd say, that we source coffee table books. Okay, what book is this?
So next is this George Baselit's book. He's a German abstract expressionist painter, but the Germans and
Show this one.
the expressionism they just know what they're doing when it comes to that. They got feeling and they got a lot of paint, so they're slopping it.
Slopping it.
It's so well done. I mean, there's even some of his sculptures in here. Love to own one if I had a spare $1 million on the side. I mean, come on, how fun.
Cool. It's a good one.
Yeah. So,
I think this one is one of my favorites, if you don't mind.
the Richard Diebenkorn.
Yeah, this is one, I love Diebenkorn, but this is also just this book in particular I really like.
It's
For coffee table styling often. It was on this coffee table for a while.
yeah. You would just have it open.
Yeah. Not, did I?
Yeah.
I guess I did have it open sometimes. But
I
I
mean-
had it shut a lot too.
They're really nice, and just like a quick little background of this artist, Richard Diebenkorn. He used to be a pilot, and so a lot of his paintings are landscape paintings. They look abstract, but it's just really like a bird's eye view of him looking at geography
They're
underneath
like
him.
aerial views. If that's something that you're really interested in, to get a certain book
I mean, look at that shit.
on the topic that really interests you. Because he knows so much about these artists, of course he would have books on them, you know?
I mean, always I gotta have a Basquiat something around. He's my all-time favorite artist. I
This
mean,
is cool, it has fold outs.
yeah, look at the king.
Is there before and after? No.
No, it's
I mean, that's a pretty young photo of him, so I was like, maybe you open it up.
he was pretty young when he died, but this
Yeah,
is
but still, this is like before he had his like
82.
hair.
So this is 5 years before he passed.
Oh wow.
He's probably like just getting into drugs at this point, really,
Yeah.
because
Show
he
that
doesn't
one, that's cool.
he doesn't have the scabs on his face yet.
Mhm. Wait, can you show that pink one?
Oh, my wife likes the pink.
I like the pink.
What's that? That's crazy.
Love it.
The original gangsta.
I know that any Basquiat book would be a home run for a gift for Elliot.
Yeah, I'm very tough to shop for.
Yes. Any Basquiat, anything would be an easy gift for you.
Yes.
I feel like I just don't have obsessions like you do.
This is a weird one that I added into the mix, just because it's coffee table size. It's not. This book isn't imagery or anything. It's
Wow.
poetry. It's a lot of writing. It's Jack Kerouac's segment of his life where he was just researching the Dharma, Buddhism. He became Buddhist himself during that time, and so it's how he writes and writing about Buddhism. It's very interesting. It's a guy that you would think of to just be driving from state to state, getting as intoxicated as possible and hitting on women, to now doing everything opposite of that. It's really fun.
I just think that, like, coffee table books don't have to be imagery at all. Like,
No.
this obviously has a lot of interesting stuff in it without having to be, like, a visual piece. But it is actually quite visual because when you open it, like, some of the,
Because he wrote it, he typed it on a typewriter, but some of them, like,
trying to
flow.
find a good example.
Some of them have
are
his, like,
really
little-
interesting.
Right there.
Yeah. Like, some of the, how do you call that?
Where is it? Well, it's just like it's just like indenting the border. Next on the list, so that was Jack Kerouac, Some of the Dharma. Definitely a Warhol book.
I think this
Gotta
is
have her.
has been in most of my coffee table stylings.
Yeah.
It's just so good. This book is still available too. I saw it on something, and I'll link it below. But it's just like a good synopsis of his work, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's like a simple, like, I think, beginner coffee table book if you're interested in art.
Yeah. It pops out. I mean, pop art, but like just having that face just like on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks great.
Yeah. Liz Taylor.
What an angel. So whenever
wait.
in-laws aren't coming over,
This book I actually want to talk about because
you can take this.
I think I actually picked this out.
Well, I looked at it like, and I was just like, oh.
We
Oh,
saw
that's
this
fun.
at a record store actually, but what I think this would be a good substitution for would be the Tom Ford book, because how much cooler is having 50 years of Playboy than having a Tom Ford book that you're never even going to crack open. This is something that when it's out, and we can't show you images, but when it's out, well, this one's safe.
You mean when they're out, right?
When this book is out on the table, it's definitely something that people are going to pick up and they're going to look at. And the photography is interesting, the styling is interesting, the set decoration is interesting. Like, it actually is like, we spent probably 2 hours one evening just going through the entire thing.
Yeah, just observing the difference of bush over time. You know?
Yes, I will be checking Not Made for Kids on this video.
Yeah, NSFW for this one.
But,
Not safe for work.
oh, I thought it was like not safe for women. I was like,
No. Don't make this a feminist thing.
oh. Anyways, it's super interesting, and why wouldn't you want this book?
Yeah. For the articles.
Look at Dolly Parton. You can't see her.
Dolly.
I'm not going to show anything just in case I'm not seeing something that shouldn't be shown.
Yeah.
But it's just it's definitely a fun book that is obviously eye-catching to anyone who's visiting your home.
Yes, it is.
Last but not least,
Last
for
but not
Elle,
least is a Jackson Pollock book. I mean, it's...
goes without saying.
I tried to get all the grades. I never really get to see his like early work. Like no one really gives a shit about that early work. I mean,
It's just interesting to
that's
see,
not what he's known for.
like, the
But you can-
evolution of the
Yeah.
artist's work.
You can tell there's splatter in this early stuff, but it's just not what he's supposed to be doing. Like he almost draws like a Spanish surrealist painter in some of this early stuff, and then it really
Well, look at
shows
that
up.
transition, though. So this is halfway through the book, and then, like, if you go back to the cover, which is, like, what he's known for, you can see, like, the transition there, you know? It's somehow
It's
similar.
in the same wheelhouse.
It's
yeah.
so weird how similar it acts. Because you think of Pollock as just, like, he just splatters paint on a canvas. But looking at his earlier work, it's just interesting to see the similarities, even though it's deliberate paint versus more accidental, I guess you could say.
Well, we're good.
Yeah, that's side by side.
I mean, it looks like it's two completely different artists.
So, I mean, for the art lover, these are pretty obvious. I think a lot of these are obvious choices, but you had some good random things in there as well.
I love a good open
Yeah.
fold out.
And one thing I'd say is, like, it's not like Elliot, acquired all these books overnight. It's called a collection for a reason.
Oh yeah.
And, like, you've definitely been collecting for what? At least 12 years?
Something like that. Let's just say a decade, an
Yeah.
even decade.
And I'd say I have been about 2. I think, so I'm going to start here. This is Hannah Wilk, and she was one of my favorite artists in college. So this is actually one of the first coffee table books I actually really remember buying. I'm not really sure what I'd purchased before her, but this one's definitely sentimental. There's a lot of stuff that I feel like I can't really show just because her work is pretty raunchy. But for those of you that might be watching that don't know anything about me, I went to school for photography, and I definitely still have like such a deep appreciation for photography. As a viewer, I don't particularly like picking up a camera. Well, if I have to. But obviously it's still a big part of my life.
Yeah, for sure it is.
I obviously utilize my skills. But she did a lot of self-portrait work, including the cover. And she was also just like, you know, one of the first like real feminist artists making little vaginas.
Are you sure they're little? They're not big? They're not big vaginas?
You know, I couldn't say. There's little vaginas all over her face.
Oh, I thought that was just gum.
No. Anyways. Yeah, buying a book like this because she was a great influence on me when I was in my undergrad. So,
Yeah.
You know, similar to your books in a lot of ways.
Yeah, exactly.
This was something that I fell in love with. Cubism in fashion was really interesting to me because this book is comparing like literal textile patterns as well as what's it called when like the pattern of sewing. Like, okay, this is a good example. So there's like cubism happening in that dress, and it's being compared to this cubism that is happening in the painting. So that side-by-side comparison was really interesting to me. And just that comparison of three-dimensional versus two-dimensional art, of course. But like talking about like the stitching patterns and stuff and the way that they came together, the fabric came together versus, you know, the way that paint might come together on a canvas. This is one of my newest purchases.
Yeah.
This is a new book. I bought it brand new, which I don't do very often. But this is all like modern English interiors. I have shown a bit of this
Where did you snag this
in
from?
previous videos. I went to High Tea with Alyssa in Philadelphia, and they had like a little shop. So I found this, Modern English Interiors. And anyways, my style, if you've seen this living room, is kind of, has modern and I'd say English country
Yeah.
vibes infused. So obviously this is interesting to me because I like those two styles together, modern and English. Obviously I like interiors, interior design book.
Interior girl.
Interior girl. This is a really fun book. And again, it's kind of something that I picked up as more like a souvenir. It's getting dirty now, which I kind of don't mind. But
She hates the pink, by the way.
I hate the color of it so much.
So much.
I love it. I bought this at the Louis Vuitton store in London when I was there, and they have these books. I think they're only it was like probably 30 pounds, so whatever that would be. But still, it's a photo art book, and well, now you know. Here's all of them. You can collect them all. This sheet just fell out. But each book is a different photographer. I bought my mom one too, but they're each a different artist. And this is Fang Li, and their photography.
Hell yeah.
So it's pretty interesting.
That's okay.
Pretty cool
You'll be back.
photography in here, which I really appreciate. This is an old one. This is one of my favorites. I've had this for
Givenchy.
a really long time. Yeah, this is basically all of Givenchy work. Really great. I mean, there's just so much art that goes into fashion, and I don't know, it's just always been super interesting to me. Here we are again comparing art and textile. And I think that's so cool. There's also some really good photos. He was obsessed with Audrey Hepburn, which why wouldn't he be? So there's a lot of great photos of her in here as well. I think what else is kind of fun about collecting these books is like just having like little pieces of history. This is one of the first ones I bought too, a big Yves Saint Laurent book, but it's all images of design. It's not like, I don't know, it's just like not a boring book. I even like tabbed stuff that I thought at the time I was selling vintage. I should do a video of like all my careers because I've had 75 at the mere age of 28. But there was a lot of styling in here that I drew inspiration from for my vintage company. I mean, it's just so beautiful. So I haven't looked at that one in a while, and now I want to. It's just kind of sat there. But it's, 30 years of design at Yves Saint Laurent. And then I got a big Georgia O'Keeffe. But who doesn't love some more feminist art in their home? Crazy people? We don't know Georgia. Don't need to go through it. Original edition published at $75.
What'd you get it for? 12.
I bought it for $12. See, that's another thing. You don't have to buy brand new $80 coffee table books. We all would love to. We definitely have our wish lists.
I think out of my pile, the Basquiat book was the only new book that I purchased.
Yeah. I only have...
But that's when you're willing to make that extra price.
I mean, my Hannah Wilk was new, but it's vintage at this point.
Yeah.
And I only have 2, I'd say, that are, like, brand new. But again, the Paris Louis Vuitton one wasn't even that much. This one I got pretty recently, too.
Which one's
over
this?
the summer. This one actually lives in my kitchen because it is called Kitchens. It's by Vinnie Lee. I don't have the original, what's it called? But it's a pretty cool design book. And it has, honestly, a lot of good timeless kitchen design in here. I mean, this is a pretty great example because this is not a new book, and open shelves are, kind of like a current trend. They're not really.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't ever remember seeing. I'm young, but as a child, I never saw open shelves like that in kitchens. You always had upper and lower cabinets, I mean, and it's just also really good photography, which of course I'm drawn to. But the way the light is in that kitchen is so beautiful. So I'd say that's a good look at our collection.
Yeah.
It's so hard to put them down. Like, I want to keep looking through them, but I'm also trying not to bore people to death.
I mean, we have enough to do a part 2 and possibly a part 3 of this, but...
Part 4, part 5 coming soon. I'm just kidding. I think maybe it's fun for us to look through these books, but I don't know how interesting it is to other people. I think that is pretty good. I hope this inspires you to find good coffee table books that aren't generic. One thing I was going to say, that Warhol book. So here's my suggestion. If you want the generic Tom Ford book, may I suggest a Playboy book instead? And if you want that typical, there's like the Ibiza one, there's, I can't think of any other Provence one. If you want the Ibiza book or you want the Provence book or any of those books, it's like the places. Maybe I've never seen the inside of them, but I just feel like the Ibiza book is something that every influencer has somewhere in their home. May I suggest the Warhol book? It's just as flashy and colorful and fun, and not everyone else has it. Or just get something else that's colorful and fun. It doesn't have to be the Warhol book, but I just think finding alternatives to trendy I just don't understand how books can be trendy like that unless it's like a cult favorite story. Go out there, go check out your local art gallery, their gift shop, check out a used bookstore, half price books, thrift them, all great places to get big coffee table books for a fraction of the price, and they're way more unique than that girl on Instagram. Okay.
If you find a Willem de Kooning book, you can send it over to us.
Our address is...
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. We'll see you next Sunday, or at least maybe I will. Enjoy whatever day you're watching this. And goodbye. I love you. I love you. Bye.